What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yours truly, Kendrick not here, back again with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Episode 7, Conversations with yours truly, Kendrick not here, man. And my guest for today, someone that I had the opportunity of meeting in high school, freshman year. Do you remember the class that we had freshman year when I met you?
Was it Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir. Physical science, fourth period.
Yeah, that was an interesting class.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jasper Lee Sexton, how you doing today, man?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there, as they say, like a hair in a biscuit.
Do you remember everybody that was in that class?
No, I only have a few memories of that class, and I'll tell you both of them. One of them was, I forget his name, but he was that white dude with a big forehead and kind of swole
Oh
body.
man,
And you remember
yeah.
we were in the year test, and he got caught cheating during the test, and Mr. Williams aired him out during the
Yeah.
testing. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you were here for this, but and this is unbeknownst to me. I was just skinning him. I didn't even make the correlation at the time. But you know, Mr. Williams, he take things. Um, I told Mr. Williams he spit watermelon seeds, and I didn't think about it. But when I said it, he was like, and he made me do 100 push-ups before I left the classroom, and I had to do 100 push-ups on that dusty floor. I remember that.
Yeah. You
Which,
remember Craig? Craig was in
God,
there.
see in that class as well.
Yep.
Well,
That was
rest
my
in
guy.
peace. Greg was a good guy.
Yeah, definitely, man. What was your do you remember your semester, that whole schedule? Because we had fourth
Dude,
period
I
with him,
know,
but what was your other three classes?
I know. Freshman year, I had Gillespie. I remember that because I think you'll remember this too because this week was crazy. It was the week that Kevin Wise passed away,
Hmm.
and um, we were at school like a few days after it or whatever, and the power went out randomly, like for like an hour and a half.
Hmm.
I was in Gillespie's class when that happened, and they were in there skinning the mess out of Gillespie with the lights off. It was a sight to see. And growing up now, when Gillespie, he respects me, I respect him. But at the time, we weren't self aware. We were just in there cutting up, having a ball, trying to make it to the school bell ring at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think we had did we have a gym together too?
Freshman year or just in general?
In general.
Probably, maybe. I can't remember that much.
No, me
But
either, man.
I do remember my fall semester classes. It was I had Miss Beck first period. You remember her?
Never.
First period.
No,
I
I
mean,
do, but
100 wing.
I never ever had her.
Yeah. Second I had Jim with you remember Alex Garcia and all them, Oscar,
Hmm.
Andres. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, third period. That's when I had ROTC with Dennis, and then fourth period with you with Mr. Williams. Yep.
Yeah, that whole freshman year, now that I think about it, was a blur.
Yeah. Did you ever get to meet Kevin? wise or
Here
seeing
and
them or
there, I wouldn't say I'd say maybe we've seen each other in passing. I wouldn't say we were acquaintances,
yeah,
but like being Olive, you kind of see people from time to time, and I've seen him throughout my childhood, so to say.
yeah. I saw him and met him once. It was the whatever it was. It was like the freshman orientation the summer before that August. And um when we went, they had some type of whatever thing, and we had to get split into groups. And there was a senior that was like
Uh-huh.
kind of like the leader in for each group, and Kevin was my leader, and he was just going around just meeting and greeting everybody. And I got to talk to him that brief moment, and that was the first and last time. So then,
Interesting.
literally weeks later, you hear about his passing. That was like crazy to me.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. What was
Humbling.
huh? What'd you say?
Oh, I said humbling.
Yeah. What do you remember most, senior year?
Honestly, man, my closest memory, like off the top of my head, I ain't gonna lie to you, is at graduation. They thought Zipporah's water were gonna break. You remember Zipporah McCoy?
Hmm.
Lord, they thought her water was gonna break. She was like swole pregnant. Like I think she had her baby within the next 2 days
Yeah.
of graduation. I remember that. As far as the actual senior year, man, I remember that whole week at school where it's like every day for like the week or week and a half or so, something different happened where the law was involved at the school. If you remember that, it was during spring semester, and it was like something happened every day, whether it was something at the school or some of the parents outside cutting up or what have you. But I have this very vague memory of like six sheriff's cars just rolling off of the alternate highway into
Yep.
Southern Wayne. Something I forget what that was that day. I think some parents were outside fighting, but I remember that dude getting through the library glass window. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's crazy to think about it because now I do pest control for Wayne County, so I go to the schools often, and I go to Southern Wayne every month, and it's like the kids are different, man. They that year or so off away from school during the pandemic, it really changed the kids. They ain't as uh it ain't like it once was, like when we would go to school, it seemed like everybody would post up in the hallways, on that one stretch in Southern Wayne where it's like that straight hallway, and everybody would just kind of post up there during the bell change and whatnot.
Yep.
Ain't like that no more, man. And the teachers, they say the kids, they're worse than we were. Which, when I hear that, I'm like, really? I thought we were bad. Looking back on it, like all my throughout school, I thought my class was bad because you went to Brogden Middle, right?
Yeah.
So I went to Mount Olive, and like we we gave those teachers literal hell, like between seventh and eighth grade there.
Yeah. us abroad, and we were crazy, man. You can ask Dennis.
No, I know. I've heard plenty of stories of what y'all were doing in class, things that would happen at school. Like
Yeah,
y'all wild, but I
yeah.
I remember more from middle school than I do high school, which is weird because like,
Mhm.
and a lot of them really just over Xavier Pearsall just doing stuff like RIP, but he would do some wild stuff in school, man.
Yeah, that was my guy too.
You
Yeah.
remember to more
Who?
to Corey? He went to Southern Wayne.
He graduated with us.
I don't remember if he was with our grad. He might have moved before senior year.
The name sounds familiar. I just can't put a face on it.
Anyway, I'll show you. Maybe I could find a picture of him after this, but apparently, well, this wasn't even Xavier that did this. This was Ronald Robinson. You remember Ron
Yeah.
from here? He was there freshman year and then he left. Well, this dude Ron and Corey were in like the bathroom together in different stalls, and apparently this man Ron peed onto Corey's white Air Force Ones, and then a few days later, Corey was spotted wearing the same shoes. And when I tell you, them boys gave that man a hard time about that. It's crazy looking back on it now, but at the time it was like
Yeah, that's tough. Real tough.
crazy to think about how varied the school education system is for each kid. Because I tell you, I just recollect crazy stuff happening from time to time, man.
Hmm.
And I ain't gonna say I ain't learned because I did, but
Do you still contact anybody from our graduation class?
I mean, aside from our group and no, not really. I don't really see too many people from our graduating class, to be honest. Like, you know, like in a day to day sense.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I still talk to you and Brandon and Dennis and Jordan from time to time, but um, other than that, man, I can't really recall seeing someone consistently from our graduating class. I used to see Wargelo Kofa frequently at why you grin at
Kofi.
Walmart. Um, but I haven't seen him recently.
Okay.
I think really, man, COVID, everybody started doing their own thing once the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. How about you? Do you ever see anyone consistently?
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as contacting or getting with people, yeah, same as you, just like the group, and that's
Now, if
about
I
it.
do see
To be honest with you.
like it's like random. I don't expect to see him.
Yeah, that's how it normally is, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but you are infamously known as a probably one of the biggest Laker fans of all time, right?
I don't know about all that.
Around here, anyway. So, what made you? like the Lakers for so long? What was it about
I
them?
mean, when I was a kid, I just have vague recollections of always watching the Laker games when it would come on. They're really basketball in general, but I just remember the Laker games because on those older TVs, it had a look to it because the yellow would be so bright on the older TVs, it wouldn't really like look right. So I remember that old style while I was sitting in the living room watching TV and it'd be the Lakers playing. I couldn't tell you, but that's when I was like, I'm talking like 3 or 4 too. So as I got older and understanding more about the game, I would sit there and actually watch it in my free time. But
So who was your favorite watching? Like, was there a certain player or just the team in general?
I mean, obviously Kobe was probably the favorite watch, but even outside of Lakers, I'll sit there and watch basketball and enjoy watching, whatever. Now here lately, I'll be honest, um, it's been hard to watch the Lakers because they could be either really good or really bad. And it's weird. D'Angelo Russell, he broke a Laker record this year for most threes by a Laker player. So, you know, that's a weird record to break and, the team be so mid.
Hmm. Yeah, you guys are kind of like a mid of a pack team right now. Ain't
But
y'all like
look,
9?
yep, we're ninth and the
Okay.
Bulls, which in today's NBA is all right to be ninth place.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
of the playing.
little play in tournament, you get lucky and then go from there. But I don't know. The West is a lot closer in that 7 to 9 range too. Like that's been flip flopping a little bit here and there. Um, but I don't know, man. The team sometimes it seems like the team plays better without LeBron, and then sometimes it seems like the team needs LeBron. So,
Yeah.
and they be playing Darvin Ham too, talking about he'd be standing there while the team loses the game, just sit there like this.
Is um is LeBron in your all-star like all-time Laker lineup?
Yeah, I mean it's hard because if you genuinely think about good Laker forwards, you know the three that come to mind are Elgin Baylor, James Worthy, and probably LeBron, man. Like, that's like to me
Yeah.
like the three forward players, like all time Laker. I mean, LeBron, whether you discredit the Disney ring or not, he did go win a championship with another team.
Yeah.
I don't know. He to me his production and ability to consistently produce at old age at such a high level is different to see.
Hmm.
Like I'm not sure anybody's done it like that in terms of just longevity and staying healthy and never really having any sort of major illness or malfunction in his wear and tear or what have you.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do credit for him for is just the longevity and to still play at a level where he's up there with guys like Luca and
Right.
CGA and all them, Tatum and all them. So, uh, you know, for a long time, I tried my best not to put him up there with, Mike and Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, the whole goal is to win in the biggest moments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just for me personally. I don't care. I don't care that much as far as like individual stats. Obviously the biggest thing is rings. And he obviously doesn't have as much as them two. But I have to put him up there because of the, surpassing Kareem. That's like I didn't think nobody was gonna ever do that.
No, and I mean, which mind you, the Kareem accolade for Kareem is crazy in itself because he's a primarily back to the basket player. Um,
Yeah.
so for him to be the leading scorer in the NBA, one without much of a three presence, if any, and two being someone who mainly played back to the basket, grind basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As a center too.
I know, and this I think about it, man, because it's not easy. Like Kareem, you think is like a 7'2". I'm not sure his weight at his peak, but he is at least 7'2". You think, bro, running back and forth 94 feet consistently, 40 to 46 minutes a night. That's ridiculous.
Hmm.
And now I'll be honest, I don't know if minutes were, how today kind of minutes is watched more consistently, whereas back then, maybe they just kind of played at their own pace. If they wanted to play, they played. Whereas today, you got guys who are like, okay, maybe I'll play 15 minutes today because my ankle hurts and we're on a back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is load management a problem for you?
No, here's the thing I have about load management in teams. Because if your player needs a rest, then I feel like they should be rested. You know, now some players just want to play all 82 games. If somebody does that in today's NBA, that's kind of a feat. I mean, it's a feat in any season, I would say, to play all 82 and not miss a game. But, you think about Embiid get hurt consistently. You think about players who are known for being, I'll play here, sit this game, play this game, like a Kawhi Leonard, for example,
Hmm.
which, I can't speak for the man because I ain't in his body, but if he needs to rest, then I guess by all means rest. But at a certain point, from a team perspective, I guess you are going to have to question, integrity and what's best for the team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you feel like, uh, obviously 82 games is a lot, you know what I'm saying? And if you need that rest, I mean, that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can't play that, especially older players such as like, LeBron, Steph, KD, that's getting up there, which is crazy to think about.
I know.
Harden, Russ, um, Kawhi too, PG, So like that wear and tear on your body gets to you, and you can't play as much. Sometimes I think about it within a fan's perspective, though. You know what I'm saying? People pay their hard-earned money to see a certain player, and he's not playing. So um, that's kind of crazy. But some people take advantage of that, though, and feel like you know they're not gonna play. They're not gonna play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for teams if players are trying to either do load management or trying to take a rest. Maybe cycle guys up from the G League team and give them some minutes. You know what I mean? Like players that are on two-way contracts that may be balling in the G League. Well, if someone wants to rest, maybe we can fill that roster spot with someone who can, maybe get something cracking.
Mhm.
It does suck for a fan, though. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah, you've been to a game before, right?
What's that?
You been to an NBA game?
Oh yeah, I've been to a few, and they're fun. They're different because like you don't until you go, you don't think about like what they do during the TV timeouts and things like that. But when you're there, and it's actually really a whole vibe from the announcer to what they do in between timeouts to the halftime show.
Yeah,
How about you? Have you been to one?
I haven't. I was supposed to go. I think it was like March or April of 2020, but
I
that's
got
when COVID started to ramp up, and they had to cancel it. I got my money back, but still,
you. They
I
won't about
got
to keep change.
yeah. I had paid my ticket to see obviously the Hornets and Clippers.
Now, I'll be honest for you, man. I think you would really enjoy going to see Carolina play.
That's a goal.
I well, it can be done. Um, to my knowledge, some of the tickets are terribly out of expense range. But I will say, for you, you enjoy the history of the game. They have a awesome right next to the little ding dong. They have a awesome little museum of Carolina basketball where it has like their rings. It has pictures from different championship runs. It has a couple Michael Jordan jerseys in there. Yeah, so I would recommend going to a game sometime next year.
Yeah,
Like
that's the
even if
goal.
it's fishing or something.
You said what?
Like even if it's just an exhibition or something.
Yeah.
Because you could I don't know if you've heard of it, but they always used to do late night with Roy, which was like their team exhibition, like where they
Mm-hmm.
previewed it for the season, and they do like a blue and white scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
That's free to go, and you can kind of get a feel for the environment there. I actually went to one of those before when Stuart Scott was alive. He used to host it every year before he got sick and passed.
Yeah. There's a lot of like sporting events that I want to go to. I haven't been to obviously a Hornet game or a Panthers game.
See, I can't
Definitely need
speak.
to check those out.
You can snag a good Panthers ticket for cheap, probably, Bubba.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
Which is all right. That's good because I've never been to an NFL game, but all the college football games I've been to, it had a certain feel in the air around it,
Mm,
like the hype of the vicinity.
Yeah. You been checking out any tournament games?
Not really, man. I'll be honest. The past couple of years, my interest in college basketball has just kind of fell off. Like, I'll watch it if it's on, but I don't go out of my way to necessarily put a game on.
Okay.
I think when I got in college, I think it started to wane because I was like, I don't know. The thought of cheering for another college to me was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But no, last night or the last couple of nights I've been working at the bar. The games have been on, and I watched the State and Texas Tech one a little bit.
Okay.
Other than that, man, I tend to stick to NBA, and I this past year I've been trying to get more and more into football.
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I did watch the Super Bowl.
Who are you going for?
It didn't matter to me, man. I, you know, people get caught up in the Taylor Swift whole thing, and to me,
Hmm.
I don't even think about that either. I just, to me, I thought the Chiefs were going to win, and they did.
Yeah.
But that's also because I think the Chiefs are really good and have been really good for a few years.
Hmm. Do you have a team?
I mean, I used to pull for the Rams, and I haven't even really followed them this year like that. I just more so would put on like Red Zone or something and just watch all the games or something of that nature.
Hmm.
But see, I'll be honest, I'm still learning like the ins and outs of football, so to say, because it is really like a complex game to understand. There's levels to it.
Hmm.
Because, like, to me, I'm still trying to figure out, what sets the quarterbacks apart from one another, aside from skill sets.
Yeah, I was about to say skills.
Well, right, but I don't know. I've always been like that with football, man. My mom, she never let me play football when I was younger, like on a organized team level. So like
Yeah.
I never to understand the game from like a in game aspect like I have with basketball.
My mom was the same way. She wouldn't allow me to play because I'm too skinny.
She'd let me play basketball, she'd let me play baseball, but no football.
Yeah. Football can be a very dangerous sport, to be honest with you, with the concussion protocols and stuff like that. So
No, but as a sport
it can be
management,
crazy.
like I have a little opinion on it. Like every sport, I go ahead and assume risk in the matter. You're playing a physical activity, whether it's football or whether it's hitting some tees off at the golf course.
Yeah.
You can still hurt yourself. But that's where you get people who are like passionate about the sport. See, me, I'm not that passionate about football. So if I go on the football field and break my leg, I'm gonna be mad at myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I go to the basketball court and I sprain my ankle, I'm gonna be like, oh, I mean, I was hooping, so I can't be too mad at myself.
Yeah.
You ever been injured?
From playing sports? or just in
Yeah.
general? No, I haven't. Nope.
2 out of 3 of my injuries resulted from sports, which is funny because when I was in middle school, we were playing. If I don't know if y'all played it at Brogdon, but it was called handball, and it was basically like um field hockey with like a dodgeball,
Hmm.
and you'd kind of pass the ball down the court, but you couldn't run with the ball. You could take like 2 or 3 steps, and then you'd have to pass it. Well, it was time to dress out, and you know how you have to throw the balls in back to the coach. Well, I was throwing the ball right, and I was throwing it, and I said this, and one of my friends at the time he said this, and my thumb said this, and I broke my thumb. That was my first break, and that's the only bone I've ever broke. And then one day I was hooping at Pope Wellness Center, and I sprained my ankle. I think long time ago.
Okay.
Missed those Pope Wellness days hooping.
I didn't never go out there.
You ain't never been out there.
Uh-uh.
Well, damn.
Yeah, bro.
I want out
We
there.
you said what now?
I want to go back out there.
We used to go to the Y though. I remember that.
Yeah, that's because I could get into the Y. But man, the Y. The problem with the Y is now it just gets so crowded at the basketball courts. Like they're always
Yeah.
running games for it.
Hmm.
And like me, I don't mind running games, but I ain't hooped since COVID, to be honest. Like at all, which is, before COVID happened, we were playing basketball occasionally, at least. Um, but at the Y compared to Pope, when you go to Pope, you run a chance. It's like a 50-50. It's either going to be deep or they're using the basketball court or it's going to be dead and you got a nice facility to yourself.
Hmm. Which is rare.
Very rare. Basically, you could go play at in north and about probably about 20 minutes from you. But the problem with facing is the gym floor is made out of concrete, so you gonna wake up the next morning and your back gonna be like this. It's gonna be hurting.
Yeah.
God, yes. Which when I played at the YMCA, man, it smells like feet in there because of that track they got.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't been there in so long though. It's like see a point going.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
YMCA Goldsboro is the biggest one in the state.
Really?
Yeah, when I worked there, they told us that they were like, it's one of the bigger ones. Like out of all the YMCA's, it's one of the biggest ones. Like as
Okay.
far as square footage and all that, because usually they're pretty small.
Yeah.
I don't know though. That's neither here or there.
Yeah. Where were you at when you heard about Kobe?
You gonna have who calling me? Landlord calling me today. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Um, I was in the Popeyes drive-through when Kobe died. I swear to you, I was going to I was going to Popeyes to try the new chicken sandwich because at the time that's when the chicken sandwich like
Yeah.
released or had all that buzz.
Hmm.
But yeah, it got broadcasted on the radio, and it's weird when I heard it on the radio, I heard it on Instagram too, because like I got a notification about it at the same time. I'm telling you, man, that man dying, it changed the world. It ain't been the same.
Yeah, that's crazy. 'Cause, I was at school and my roommate wasn't in our room. He was out somewhere with his girlfriend, so I was enjoying that peace and quiet.
God, yeah,
And and I was on my phone, and because you remember the night before, that's when LeBron surpassed him in points.
really.
Remember that? Yeah. So he had posted something about that, obviously the night before, and I was on his Instagram. Someone just told me to go on his Instagram. And back then, even still now, people like random people all around the world to tag people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to his tag post and like one of the first things was R.I.P. Kobe. I was like, at
Dang.
first I didn't take it seriously. At first, I was like, ain't no way. Kobe out of all people gone? Nah, nope. So I immediately go back to my main page, refreshed it, and like the first five things up there that was from verified people was R.I.P. Kobe, R.I.P. Kobe. That's when it really like, yeah, hit me. And once that happened, that's when my roommate came in and he didn't know at the time. And I just went straight to our bathroom and I just cried, bro.
Damn.
Yep. Because Kobe for me, because like growing up, I didn't really watch sports like that for real.
Uh-huh.
And the very first game that my dad kind of told me to watch was Game 7, 2010 finals, Celtics Lakers. Watching Kobe win his fifth and ultimately final ring, and just like watching him celebrate and his will to win that one, that kind of introduced me to sports and
Oh yeah.
basketball. So like all these years later, for him to pass, especially like that, was kind of it killed me a little bit.
I understand that. It was a weird way for him to pass.
Yeah, isn't it weird though? Like all these celebrities passing in like weird ways.
I mean, I think sometimes there's more to it than meets the eye, but that Kobe's death, I don't think there was no foul play or anything involved, you know what I mean? I think he just wrong place, wrong time.
I mean, we will never know, but
No,
that was terrible for me. As far as like
no, no.
celebrities or like any famous person, he's up there for me as far as like that kind of hit me the most. Probably
No.
my number one. Definitely my number one. Who's
Had
your
that
who's
man
your huh?
had that man Michael Jordan crying.
Yeah. Who's in your like top three as far as like famous people that passed that kind of hit you?
Oh, well, probably Kobe because it was like, what in the world? I think DMX passing was crazy. Well, it won't
Yeah.
unpredicted, just crazy. And probably Juice World because that one was out of left field.
Hmm.
Oh, that and X, both of them too.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mac Miller, you can't forget Mac Miller.
Definitely Matt.
So I'd say them three. Well, that's really like five, but you know what I mean.
No, I got you. So who are you into like as far as like music? I know you're obviously in rap, but like who's your in your top
I mean,
five right now?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a top five. I listen to a lot of different, I guess you could say alternate hip hop, like underground stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could say like Earl Sweatshirt esque. But I mean, there's a couple of guys. Like, there's this guy out of Charlotte named Mavi, and he makes some good music, got some cool bars. Um, been listening to a lot of Denzel Curry here lately. That new Kanye tape drop, I've been listening to that. Or excuse me, that new Ye tape.
Yeah, it's Yay.
I know. I don't know, man. What I've been doing here lately is I have a playlist of different things, and I build these playlists based on the title of the list. So like I
Hmm.
got one for like songs with good bass lines. I got one for like songs with bars or songs I think they got nice flows to them. So that's kind of, and I use Spotify, which I don't know if you use Apple Music or Spotify, but Spotify has this feature where you can do a smart shuffle, which is like you can I guess it plugs in songs in your rotation like based on the playlist.
Yeah.
So that okay, that kind of puts me on to different sounds, different rappers. So how about you? Who you be listening to? Just a regular, same old.
Who's the regular?
I mean, Drake. What you mean?
Yeah. I mean, obviously outside of Drake, definitely Cole. Um, Cole. I mean, I listen to Kendrick here and there. I prefer the old Kendrick, though,
I got you.
you know. Um, you like Gates? Kevin Gates?
I've never been a fan of Kevin Gates, man. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. And I had this convo with Dennis the other day, and it's kind of which I just don't like his voice, man. He sounds so nasty on the mic to me. And the style of like trap music he makes is already kind of, to me, a hard listen. Like that Louisiana S trap,
Yeah.
like to me is a hard listen. So I've never been a fan, and I've heard plenty of songs of his from through the years between different people's playlists. But I've never been a I this his music's never caught my ear. How
I got
about
you.
you?
Yeah, I like his stuff. I've been listening to him a solid what, maybe like 4 or 5 years now, as far as like albums and stuff.
Uh,
Yeah, I like him. He's up there for me. Who's an underrated rapper to you that doesn't really get that praise or recognition to you?
from who? Mainstream media?
Shit, anybody.
Underrated rapper. Um, it's a good question, man. I gotta think on it real quick. Cause me personally, man, and Dennis can even tell you this. I listen to a lot of rappers who I don't know if other people around me know who they are, and it's not like they're like super underground or anything. It's just
Hmm.
that you feel me. It's not stuff. It's not stuff people hear on the radio. It's literally artists I've found throughout the years of using Spotify and like finding people who release music and stuff like that. As far as someone underrated, man, I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of what's his name? I mean, it depends on what you define as underrated too, because like most of these people, I feel like they are where they should be, so to say. Because like a lot of the people I listen to, like if they were bigger, I don't know what their music would sound like. You know what I mean? Or if they had a bigger
Hmm.
industry.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people from North Carolina rapping right now that I don't know. I could see them making splashes in like mainstream music, but it just ain't happened yet. You know what I mean?
yeah, I got you. So who's in your uh I'll say, yeah, top five all time.
Rappers,
Yeah. And
that's hard.
how do you define a good rapper? Do you just base it on flow or what you talking about, or what's that for you?
Well, it's got to be a combination of things. It's got to be like influence. It's got to be ability. It's got to be, you got to have the material, you know. So I don't know. It's hard to define, a top five in that sense because, like, I'm gonna probably put Kanye in my top five, not because he the best rapper or anything like that, but I just know, like, between his catalog and what he brings to the mic, it's just always gonna be, his person. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and it's probably the same way I felt like because to me, I've always told people, Big, you ain't never gonna find anybody who sounded as good on a track as he did. Like just his vocal presence on a track, you can't recreate stuff like that. But as far as my top five, man, I'd probably go Kanye. I like Earl Sweatshirt a lot, so I'd probably say Earl Sweatshirt. Um, I enjoy quite a bit of like the older MF Doom tracks. I'd probably say MF Doom. Um, And of course, my mind goes blank when you ask me questions like this, as if I don't listen to music every day of my life. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I think rappers like Big. I think of rappers like Scarface, off of Ghetto Boys. I think of Andre 3K,
Hmm.
and really Outkast too, because Big Boy can rap. Um, and even even before then, I like a lot of Slick Rick's material in like the '80s.
Hmm. Yeah.
This is where I'm telling you, like my playlist kind of lean towards one sound or the other, and I haven't had a playlist where I put all my older hits in, like stuff from the '80s, '90s, 2000s, like stuff you really wouldn't hear anymore. Like, 'cause, there's a lot of tracks in the 2000s that got released that people don't really play much anymore,
Yeah.
like hymns. But that's really with any era. How about you? What you think?
Well, I definitely defined a just a good rapper really based off of obviously your influence, your ability, and just how you um obviously what you talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can relate to it. Um so as far as like my five uh, like three just automatically come to my head. Like this is no order, this is just like when it comes to that conversation, definitely Big is in there for me. Um Eminem and Wayne for me.
Yeah,
That last two is tough. Um, and I know I'm like the biggest Drake fan in the world, but I definitely have Cole in that conversation before Drake to me.
I feel you.
Um, then that fifth spot, again, this is in the order, but I
Right.
have to put Kanye in there too. Well, excuse me, Yay.
It was hard to leave them out.
Yeah. But if I had to really rank it though, uh, that would take me some time.
No, there's a lot of people to go through history and sort and X out.
Yeah. Because for me, I grew up in that era where like Wayne was like the number one for like consecutive years.
Right.
Um, Especially during like middle school, high school days for me.
Uh-huh.
So like you can't have a list without him on it.
No, he had an insane run for a while. I mean, he's still running, but you know what I mean, as far as features and
Yeah.
free dropping, and just went on a run from No Ceilings. I took Carter 3 to, I think Sorry for the Wait was a really good mixtape when he dropped it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you knew if you heard the lighter flick, it was you in for a treat.
Yeah. And like he would like do other people's songs, make it better than the original.
Yeah,
That's like I don't know. Wayne is up there for me for sure.
won't blame you there.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
are you into like R&B at all, or like any other type of genres?
Oh, I mean, I hop around genres. I dabbled in I started getting into like more rock and roll, like heavy metal, but like melodic stuff, not like screamo or anything, but just like where they're actually play music, like
Yeah.
hear the damn guitar and the bass and everything. Um, I've always been a big reggae fan. I've always liked the sound of like older reggae too, like from the 80s and 90s. Um, I've always liked Motown and soul music, stuff you would hear like the Temptations or the Supremes or
Mhm.
um, stuff like that from that era. Um, but yeah, I mean R&B. I did listen to it occasionally. Like I have songs that pop up in my playlist that I guess you would consider R&B or alternate R&B. Um, like Brent, I got some Brent songs that pop up. Um, some Steve Lacy songs that pop up in there from time to time. Um, Frank Ocean, I'm assuming you would consider R&B.
Yeah.
I suppose. Um, but yeah, I mean, it kind of all just depends. Mostly, I just really here lately, I've been kind of just doing my own thing. Whatever the playlist throws up there, I kind of just listen to, and if I like it, cool. If I don't, I'll just skip it.
That's how most of the time for me, as far as like, I mean, obviously I have my favorites. You got your Ushers, you have your, um, Rihanna's. Occasionally Beyonce I'll listen to more so her older stuff.
Uh huh.
Um, but as far as like people new today, like, I'm into definitely, SZA, you know, Tyler, um, those are like the top ones for me. I tend to listen to more like people that's been in the game for a while.
I feel you.
Yeah, but I'm all around, saying like rap, hip hop, rock, country, pop as well. So imagine
Yeah,
my
see,
playlist.
I like I guess what you could call like classic country, like 70s and 80s.
Yeah, like George Strait and all them.
Yeah, stuff like that, like Hank Williams Jr. But like I don't go out my way to like put it on, you feel me? Like if it's on and I'm at the function, like I ain't upset,
Mm,
but I don't think I'd play it on the drive home from work or something.
right. You gotta be in the mood for
Yeah,
it.
basically.
Yeah. This is a might be a weird question, but I'm gonna ask anyway. What's something that you are currently practicing in life right now?
Well, most likely, probably pest control. I need to start practicing financial discipline more or less,
Hmm.
um, because I like to spend money on things and the such. But right now, I mean, career wise, I'm learning pest control on the daily, just like self learning, getting experience. Um, that's something I practice every day. I need to start practicing more things like organizing the house, but um, I don't know if I told you, but my apartment is getting remodeled at the moment, and everything is kind of everywhere at the moment, so it's hard to kind of do that.
Yeah. I am currently practicing on how to be more self-aware as far as like appreciating how far I've come
Mm-hmm.
versus dreading being somewhere where I want to be. Just appreciating the moment versus okay, I accomplished this thing. Okay, cool. Boom. What's next? Oh, I did this thing. Okay, cool. Boom. What's next? I have to feel for a long time. I felt like I had to be on the go and chase after just something to be, I guess, successful or feel like I'm doing something in life. Not realizing the importance of uh, graduating college. Not many people do
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what I'm saying? But you did. You know, be happy for yourself. Congratulate yourself. Um, you have two jobs. Not many people have one. Congratulate yourself. You're doing something. So on and so forth. So like that's something that I have to focus on for sure. For me, um, it's not easy, but because if you have this thing going on for so long, it's hard to stop it cold turkey. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I've always been. So
No, I get you.
that's why it's called practice.
No, I understand what you mean. And me personally, I say I'm very self-aware, and it being self-aware, I'll tell you, is a blessing and a curse. It can be both. It can be lopsided one way or the other, but you have a good perspective on you. You always have had a interest and insight as to things. So um I think you as a person, you continue to work towards your goals, and that's a very honorable thing, whether that's in the gym or outside the gym or at work. You're constantly grinding.
Yeah, I try to.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. Is there any particular goals that you have for yourself this year?
One of them is to move out of this apartment, honestly, but that kind of
Some
takes
time.
time, a right scenario to arise. But that's probably my biggest goal.
Yeah.
Is to move into a different space sometime this year.
Okay.
How about you?
Uh, outside of what I just told you, it's just like become more, you know what I'm saying? The two biggest ones for me, I've already done one, which is crazy. Because the two biggest things I wanted to do is get my passport
Hmm.
because I've always wanted to travel, and I got that like literally 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
And second one is it's been a dream since I can't even remember. I've always wanted to go to New York for New Year's,
Uh,
and I'm doing it this year, man, for sure.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. You ever been to New York?
I have not. That's the thing.
It is a wild place up there, my friend. Um,
Yeah, I've heard.
one, it, anytime you have a bunch of people in one place, it's always going to be interesting. But in New York, you have a bunch of people from all parts of the world under one roof, under the same rules established by New Yorkers. So, like, it is
Yeah.
a weird place. I will tell you, I went when I was in middle school, and they could hear my accent very predominantly over everyone else's New York accent. So when you go there, which you don't really have much of a Southern accent, in my opinion, um, so you might not get picked on like I did. But man, every time I open my mouth, it's like people looked at you like,
Where
you
you
know,
from?
yeah, well, you ain't from around here. Where you from?
Yeah.
But it is a nice place, and Times Square is a very cool part of the city. So if that's where you're going for that, that will be very fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. What part did you go to? You said Times Square, right? But like,
We
what else
and
did you
had
do?
Yeah, when we went, we stayed in Manhattan. We actually stayed. It's crazy to think about. We actually stayed in a hotel that is across the street from where the 9/11 towers were. So like when we went, we stayed in the hotel and we could look out our hotel window and look down, and they were building the new World Trade Center memorial, like WT1, I guess it's called now.
Hmm.
Um, which was that was crazy because you could see how big I guess you could say the foundation for these buildings were while looking down there.
Yeah.
It takes up, that whole area takes up quite a bit of land. You know, New York's it's so tight yet so big at the same time. Like everything's on top of one another, but you know, everything's so big compared to here where we're used to our little rolling plains and
Hmm.
double wide trailers and trees, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm excited for it though, bro. It's gonna be expensive
Definitely
though.
get you food.
You say what?
I said definitely get you some good food when you go because they have some awesome food.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome food.
How much time you got left, man? I don't want to keep you.
I don't even know what time it is, sir. I can go for about 10 more minutes. You want to talk some NBA?
Yeah, man. Who's your MVP?
It's weird because this season is every season seems like it's a different vibe than the last season. And Jokic, he's been winning the MVP. And you know how MVP fatigue is a thing where, the press and media are kind of worn down of fatigue. LeBron kind of saw that. And, how good can a player keep being to keep getting MVP? And,
Hmm.
this year, I really think it's between Jokic or Luka. And those are probably the two front runners,
Yeah.
which,
Did you?
if you
Did you? Go
go
ahead.
ahead,
You got it. Go ahead.
I was going to say if Jokic wins MVP again, that'd be kind of something wild, maybe unprecedented territory as far as the NBA player goes.
Yeah, because it would be like what his fourth or third.
Yeah, and he's won back to back.
That's crazy.
You know, eh, we're talking about dominant players and we're talking about dominant big man. It's hard not to consider him a dominant force.
Did you see?
So,
Did you see that alley the other night?
God,
Look
yes.
at look at the
Luka,
Kyrie.
Kyrie,
Whew.
that man. First off, where all these bunnies coming from? This man, for most of his career, has been known as a finesse layup finisher, and out of nowhere, starting to catch lobs.
Hmm.
Johnny said he couldn't do it when he was at the Cavs or Brooklyn, but either way, it's out of character for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but he since he's gotten in the NBA, his offensive production, like he leads, I think, all time in like fastest offensive production from a player. Um, and the fact he's doing that this season at such a high rate, paired with assists and rebounds, not many players do that on an all-time standpoint.
Yeah. The
But then again,
biggest like go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you never know. You never know who'll win. SGA might win.
Yeah, he should be definitely in there. Him, obviously Luka, Young, Jokic, Giannis as well. Um,
Giannis and votes. I don't think they'll win it over Jokic or Luca though,
yeah, I think it will boil down to them too.
especially when Jokic and Luca are at the top of the West.
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. It all depends. This man Jokic, he'll win another MVP and say, "I need to go home and play with my horses." So that man is so good and don't care about basketball. It's insane.
Yeah, them type of players, Jokic, Luka, they've been playing since like late five, so it don't matter to them.
Let's see, basketball Jokic don't.
Yeah, like
Luka,
the biggest debate, like it's one of the biggest debates, like who has the best handles between Steph and Kyrie. Who you got in that?
I think it depends on. I would say it depends on what area you're talking about because I think at one point one was better than the other, and then at one point the other was better than the other. You know what I mean? Like when Curry was winning his titles and doing his thing, I would say his handles were better than Kyrie's. But you know, early on, I think Kyrie, when he came into the league, had better handles. He was just known for his handle on the ball.
Hmm.
Um, they're both all-time dribblers in any sense, though. Like as far as ball handlers go, they're definitely top 10.
Oh yeah,
And Steph, I'd probably say is top 5. Kyrie's probably right there underneath him in some sense, or right there above him. I just think it depends on what you consider a elite ball handler.
oh yeah, they're both in there for sure for me.
Discount one or
Um,
the other, because
yeah,
like Kyrie, to me, it's like it's more expected he's gonna cross you. Like he may not break you, but he gonna sauce you up. Like it's
oh yeah,
expected. With Curry, it's like if he get in that mode and he start cooking you, then you're toast. It's done. It's game over. He cooked you because
yeah,
he's the type that gets hot, and when he's like those some of those years when he just ridiculous with it, you know, this year he's kind of had a up and down kind of flow to it. You know,
hmm
at one point in this year he was kind of going through a slump, and then he kind of brought it back up. So I don't know.
yeah.
I think the Warriors
Uh,
got more things to worry about than Curry's performance, though.
oh yeah, they got a bully over there.
I ain't talking about that, man. I'm just talking about in general. I think unless they can pull something out and make a trade or do something crazy, I think they might be done as a dynasty.
Oh yeah. I think Clay is up there as far as like being next, being gone.
Well, Clay, he either needs a break or a fresh start because that injury messed him up pretty bad, man.
Yeah.
Like he's a shell of his former self entirely. And Draymond, he never really got help from Draymond on an offensive sense.
Mm-mm.
And, you argue defensively, he's still, up there, but it just ain't the same vibe.
What do you think they need?
Probably need another shooter, man. The whole Warriors identity was based in, you have two all-time shooters attacking you at all times of the game.
Yeah.
And then you got up there, and then it was three all-time shooters attacking you at all time in the game. You know, it just statistically, it's hard to beat that when you got so much firepower.
Yeah.
Even talking about from a talent standpoint, I'm talking generally from the point of being a 3 point marksman. You're cooked if they got in that mode and they got going. You're cooked. You're done. Because the beauty of it was, if Steph was having a bad game, you could almost guarantee Clay could pick up slack. And if Clay was having a bad game, you could almost guarantee Curry would pick up slack. But now it ain't. It's more Curry picking up where he can and
Hmm.
Clay doing what he can. And Draymond just being there trying not to punch somebody.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Do you think the Warriors need Zach LaVine? I don't mind Klay Thompson in the winning city.
Yeah, you want to get rid of Zach LaVine so bad. You don't want him in a Bulls jersey no more.
No, I don't.
I think
Taking up cap space.
I don't think they could benefit from having him in the roster. I don't think he would bring any something. I mean, the only thing he'll bring is a nice, fresh pair of legs to the team. They don't really have someone that's like a rim attacker, that's someone that's going to slash. Um, so maybe it would work out, but they need something else. And I think Levine would be better in a different environment anyway.
Okay.
He's gonna have to figure that out though, because he might end up on the Hornets and he might be feeling bad about himself in a few years.
Ah, ain't nothing wrong with Charlotte.
Ain't nothing wrong with Charlotte.
It's just not market wise. It's just not
They
for
just
certain
need.
players.
They've had the bad luck in history in terms of drafts and just overall establishing a team that's something of competitive nature.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking. I'm talking historically as the Bobcats and all. Uh, Even in the '90s they had a squad, and in the 2000s they had a first rounder squad, but they've never had a team that you were like, oh, you got to watch out for these boys.
Yeah.
And I thought with Melo being there, you'd start to see that. And sometimes you do. You can kind of see that some games, but not all the time.
Yeah. Mm-mm. I don't see Steph ever leaving Golden State, but you know, he can always come back home.
It would be so weird to see him in a different jersey.
I know. It'd be weird. But Charlotte be gone. If you bumping up there, if you came out there.
Charlotte needs the NBA to be like, all right, we got you. We're gonna give you some picks for free. You just have them. We just want you to have them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they draft someone of decent stature. Which I'll be honest, you think before we're dead, the Charlotte Hornets will win a title?
No,
Damn. So
I
like
don't
say
think
you
so.
live 70, 80 years old. Still
Maybe that's a long time from now.
on time. I think they could win one in the next 50 years. It's just gonna take at least 10 years to get to that point.
Yeah.
They didn't build it overnight.
Oh no. No. I think they
Which
need
man
like a generational type player that they can build
need,
with.
need Victor Wembanyama's brother, Oscar. Thank
Yeah, some type
need
of
him.
player like that. Yep. My last question to you is this: Who's in your top five all time?
Basketball players.
Yes, sir.
Um, and this is probably no order. These are just players I think that exude like just ballers, bro. Like you just know when you say these names, like you gonna end up with buckets. So I'm gonna go Kobe. I'm gonna go Larry Bird. I'm gonna go Kareem. Um, all time point guard. I think Magic, man. I really do. And then I need a small forward. No, I got a small forward. I need a power forward. I guess I'll do Timmy D, man, because he in the middle. You can't knock it. You know, it's not like he's a over the top scorer. It's not like he's a um 3 point specialist or anything of that nature. He's just consistent, big body,
Hmm.
hard to beat. But you know, like I said, that's just based on people who I think exude characteristics of basketball, like how it should be played. Now, if you're talking about top five right now, I think Jokic, Giannis, Luca, Tatum, and SGA probably is your best players right now.
It's a very solid list as far as like the next generation of players. Yeah.
And, you know, I think Victor and Chet, they're going to pan out. They're both really good. Scoot Henderson is interesting. Scotty Barnes is interesting.
Hmm.
Almost feel
Them
bad for him in Toronto.
what about them Thompson brothers?
Yeah, they do good too. I tell you who else is really good. We ain't talked about is Halliburton. And he's kind of snuck up on people in terms of being
Yep.
in elite status in the league.
Hmm. I know you saw that dunk and Edwards.
Oh yeah, I got I've had him on my fantasy team all year. He's something else. Which it's wild that the Timberwolves have finally turned it around like they did. It
Oh yeah.
it took some it took some players, and I thought the Rudy Gobert experiment, and I when they got Rudy Gobert, I'll be honest, I was like, that they don't complement one another, and that might be a good thing between him and Cat.
Yeah.
Because now Cat don't have to worry about being down there banging low. You can leave that for Gobert, and Cat can go and do what he wants offensively now,
Hmm.
whether back to the basket or whether that's spotting up or passing to Anthony. It just they got an interesting team. They might make some noise in the playoffs,
Oh yeah. And
but
they
to be
number one, number two in the West.
yeah, they're up there. It kind of, to my knowledge, they've been number one for a while this season. So they definitely, you gotta watch out for them. Um, I genuinely don't know who will win this year. Like, there's just so many good teams. It just would come down to who gets eliminated where.
Yeah, it's definitely, bro.
Yeah, and I think your Bulls can maybe make the play in. I think the Lakers can make the play in.
We
I
ain't
think
getting
the
far.
Lakers. What's that?
We ain't getting too far.
No, I don't expect the Lakers to either.
Yeah. Y'all got y'all little championship. If you count
It,
that,
right.
like the mid season thing.
Well, I guess you count that. It don't matter towards the end of the season, but yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that.
I don't know.
Give LeBron
Weird.
another think.
Probably. Like,
Oh
oh, Jordan don't got that. Ron
no! No,
does.
you're right.
Yeah. So, oh, my five. Uh, Jordan, Kobe, Bron, Magic, Tim.
Yeah,
Kind of solid.
they'd probably make some noise.
Well, Lee, man, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man, it was fun talking with you as always.
Yes, sir. We're gonna have to get all of us on here, bro, for the
That would
season,
be
for the playoffs, or finals.
that would be fun. I would love to sit here and skin Dennis a couple times.
Yeah.
Si-
Well, until the, huh?
I said silly,
Yeah. Until then, bro. Um,
and
for the people that's going to watch this, bro. What's your social, man, so they can follow you?
man, I don't even know. Let me see. Hold up. I don't even post up here. I just get up here to look at the memes. You can follow me at Lee_Sexton16 on Instagram. That's really all I'm on.
Okay. Well, bro, it's been fun. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Conversations with yours truly, Kendrick McKnight here, bro. Lee Sexton. Till next time.
Signing
Yes,
off.
sir. Yes, sir.